Hey there, I am not a native speaker, and I will keep on reading Fluent Forever, how to learn any language fast and never forget it. Does your new language use gender? Probably, gender was a prominent feature of Proto-Indo-European language spoken in 4 million BCA by a nomadic tribe living in the southern western Russia. Their language gave birth to most of the languages spoken in Europe, Americas, Russia, and the Indian subcontinent. So there are 3 billion native speakers of languages in the Proto-Indo-European family. So there's a good chance you are learning one of these languages and therefore need to learn gender. If you are not sure, check it here, okay. And so, it's not surprising that we create nonsensical groups for our nouns to uncountable luggage, uncountable bags, and that the Shermans have feminine Sherman turnips, masculine Sherman cheese, and neuter Sherman medons. These are two sides of the same coin. We should love making groups sensible or not. Sooner or later, you're going to encounter nonsensical groups like this. If you are studying Germanic, Romantic, Slavic, Semitic, or Indian language, you need to deal with this noun. Each of your words has a gender, and these genders don't make any sense. To quote Mark Twain, okay, I don't know. Well, doesn't matter. Unfortunately, in any of the languages with genders, you have to know a word's gender before you can do anything with it. Which is why your grammar book starts with a long tirade about gender in the first or second chapter. Your book will either tell you that you should have to memorize it, or give you a pile of rules with a list of exceptions that you should have to memorize. The book is right. You do need to memorize it. But there's an easy way to do this, and I'll show you how in our next game. Okay. In your language if your language doesn't have gender, if you are studying one of the language of Eastern Asia, of the Philippines or Turkey, then you can breathe easy for now, but don't worry, you will find your own uses for our mnemonic game soon enough. Game 3, mnemonic imagery game. How to memorize nonsensical bits of grammar. To continue with the Sherman genders, tree is male, its bats are female, its leaves are neuter, horses are sexless, dogs are male, cats are female, tomcats include, of course. A person's mouth, neck, bosom, elbows, fingers, nails, feet, and body are of the male sex, and his head is male or neuter, according to the word selected to signify it. and not according to the sex of the individual who wears it. For in Germany, all the women were either male heads or sexless ones. A person's nose, lips, shoulders, breast, hands, and toes are of the female sex, and his hair, ears, eyes, chin, legs, knees, heart, and conscience haven't any sex of at all. The inventor of the language probably got what he knew about conscience from hearsay. Okay. Welcome to the mnemonic imagery game. In the next few pages, you are going to memorize the genders of 12 of Dwayne's troublesome nouns. We'll do it quickly. You will do it easily, and you will even have fun. Let's go. 3 masculine. 3 bad. Feminine. Leaf neuter. Horse neuter. Dog masculine. Cat feminine. Mouth masculine. Neck masculine. Hand feminine. Nose feminine. Knee neuter. And heart neuter. You may be able to memorize this by rote repetition, but not for more than a few minutes. We'll try something a bit more interesting and long-lasting instead. I want you to imagine all of these masculine nouns exploding. Your tree, kaboom! Splinters of wood everywhere. A branch gets embedded in the wall behind you. Those chunks splatter all over the ceiling and floors. You whip bits of fur and gore from your forehead. Make your images as vivid as you can stomach. Feminine nouns should catch fire. Your nose spews fire out of it like a dragon. A flaming cat sets fire to your bedroom. Feel the heat. Feel the heat of each image. The more senses you can involve, the better. Natural items should shatter like glass. Shocked, brown red, sparkling shards of horse spread across the floor, as those your broken heart sniff. Take a moment to imagine the remaining images yourself: an exploding mouth and neck masculine, a burning hand, and 3 bad feminine, a shattering leaf and knee neuter. No, really. Go back and do this. It shouldn't take you more than a minute. I wait. See how many of these images stick. We'll even mix up the order to be tricky. Tree, leaf, horse, dog, cat, mouth, neck, hand, nose, heart, knee, 3 bad. Not so bad, huh? Depending upon how vivid your images were, you may have remembered all of them. And if you missed a few, you'll get better with practice. Mnemonic images work for reasons you may already surmise. We are really good at remembering images, particularly when those images are violent, sexual, funny, or any combination of the three. While gender can conjure up some images, you can probably imagine a male dog. It falls flat on others, not your knee. Vivid action-packed verbs are much more memorable. To play the mnemonic image game in your language, you will need to come up with images for the nonsensical grammatical groups in your new language. Since we are restricting ourselves to noun genders for a moment, then you'll need 2 or 3 particularly vivid verbs. This combines well with nouns. Later, when you are making your flashcards, you can use mnemonic imaginary as needed. If a man is masculine in your target language, you probably don't need imaginary for that word. But if you are making a flashcard for a maiden, nature, then take a few seconds to shatter her into 1,000 medley pieces. Make your images as vivid and multisensory as you can. If you do, you have an easy time recalling each word's gender whenever you review, and if you get stumped, you can create a new image then and there. After a few hundred words, you will begin to do this automatically with every new word, and gender will cease being a problem from then on. As you learn more, you will find that this tool can become handy everywhere. Anytime you encounter some frustrating group of irregularities, you just have to memorize. You can create a mnemonic image. You can even make images for spelling. Then you can well, I know. Okay. For example, Lisha, cat. Then that can ride on top of your cheval, horse in French. We'll cover more advanced uses in chapter 5. I use this game for all sorts of nasty things. Verbs, conjugations, prepositions, noun cases, and irregular plurals, to name a few. Okay? Right. Until then, make a few images and try it out. It's a fun tool, and it makes light work of one of the hardest aspects of language learning. Key points. Many languages assign a nonsensical grammatical gender to each of their nouns, which is a standard source of trouble for language learners. If your language has grammatical gender, you can memorize it easily, but if you assign each gender a particular vivid action, and then imagine each of your nouns performing that action. Cool.